What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. And as you can see, we are going through the city fast. Just kidding, I haven't even exceeded the 50 kilometers an hour yet. But the time is 11:09 p.m. What am I doing out this late? Well, I'm heading to Royal Aquarium. At 11 p.m. is quite the unsettling time, isn't it? So why am I heading to Royal Aquarium this late, especially after closing hours? Well, you see, they're receiving a shipment of super red Arowanas. And they have invited me to come take a couple of clips behind the scene and show it to you guys. So that's what I'm gonna do today. Let's head to Royal Aquarium and I'll pick the camera from there. So when I arrived at Royal Aquarium, 2 of the containers had already reached the shop. And that's when I realized that this wasn't just another fish shipment. This shipment actually had aquarium tanks, filtration systems, pumps, accessories, and of course, hundreds and hundreds of fish combined. This was one massive shipment, and the crew, the people that actually worked at Royal Aquarium, has already begun unpacking the tanks and the equipment. Now, not long after I actually arrived, the live fish were transported to the aquarium. The shipment actually had been delayed by about a day at this point, and everyone wanted to get the fish settled as quickly and safely as possible. Now, I was lucky enough to be given the honor of opening the truck, and honestly, I wasn't prepared for what was inside. Boxes and boxes on top of more boxes, and more than I've ever seen arrived at an aquarium at one time. Those are the Arowanas! Now, seeing everyone work together was incredible. Every person had a role, and despite how hectic it looked, everything was organized. And one more thing that I learned that many hobbyists probably don't know is that imported fish go through strict, and I mean really strict, health checks before entering the country. Every shipment follows documentation and inspection to a level of such a high degree that the procedures actually make sure that these fish entering Sri Lanka are healthy and do not carry any unknown diseases. Now, one thing I actually asked Arvinth Aiya was, is this normal? Because honestly, I've never seen an aquarium receive this many boxes at once. That's when he explained to me that this wasn't even planned. 4 different shipments had actually arrived together at the same time. So what looked like one massive shipment was really several shipments all landing at once, which made the whole place even busier than usual. And while we were checking over some of the fish, Arvinth Aiya also walked me through some of the import procedures and the inspections every shipment goes through before the fish can enter the country. Now, I won't bore you guys with all the paperwork, but it definitely gave me a whole new appreciation for everything that happens before these fish finally reach the hobby and into the hands of hobbyists. Once everything downstairs was under control, we headed upstairs to Royal Aquarium's new quarantine facility. I actually had no idea they'd moved it upstairs until Arvinth Aiya asked me to go take a look. And honestly, it's a really nice upgrade. And the first fish we saw were the juvenile brother red chili reds, going through temperature acclimation. Now, I've seen tons of videos of these guys back when they were in mainland Indonesia. but seeing them in person is something else. They were way bigger than I expected, and honestly, more than 80 to 90% of them were bigger than Igris. And this might be a bold statement, but I really think this has to be one of the biggest shipments of juvenile chili red arowanas. And honestly, some of the biggest juvenile chili red arowanas I've seen in Sri Lanka. And then the moment I'd been waiting for, the adult chili reds. Pictures don't do these fish justice, my guys. Like, honestly. And as we speak, I have chills. Each one had their own personality, and some were deep block red with unbelievable body thickness, while others had incredibly thick rims that were already pushing towards the block red quality, along with massive pectoral fins, unbelievable scale development, and nearly 2 feet in length. Honestly, I couldn't believe my eyes. Right? Again, I saw these fish on video. They didn't seem that big. And now I'm looking at them face to face. And honestly, I am at a loss for words, even right now while I'm voicing over this video. Now, this is the thing. I've owned arowanas this size before, but it's been about an year since I did. Standing in front of these giants brought back memories I'd almost forgotten. It reminded me what these fish eventually become, and honestly, it got me excited for the future of my own fish. As I stood there, I couldn't help but feel this is God's way of reminding me of where I once was. Maybe He's preparing me for the day I'll be keeping and handling fish like these again. By His grace, I hope that day comes soon. Very few people ever get to experience something like this. It's one thing to watch videos online, it's another to actually stand beside fish of this caliber, watch professionals handle them, and be part of the entire acclimation process. Honestly, for me guys, this felt completely unreal and insane. Now, after Arvinth Aiya handled the first fish, he trusted me with releasing the remaining arowanas. And honestly, for that I have to say thank you. Thank you for the amount of trust you put in me. But I'll admit, I was shitting myself. These definitely aren't the kind of fish you want to drop. I mean, selling both of my partially working testicles wouldn't even cover the cost of one of them. But releasing an arowana into its new home is something I've always loved doing and something that I'm really familiar with. So at the end of the day, it was all good. Now, once the fish were settling in, the team started adding the water conditioners and supplements. One thing that genuinely caught my attention was seeing new mine products being used here. I've been seeing these products used in Indonesia at arowana farms, competitions, and by some of the best groomers like Brother Red. So seeing them being trusted here in Sri Lanka was honestly amazing. And the fact that we can now purchase these and get our hands on these same products for our own fish is something I never thought we'd have. So once we were done settling the adult chili reds downstairs, we headed back upstairs to check on the juveniles. By this point, they'd already been acclimating for well over 45 minutes. Because they're still young, they're naturally a lot more sensitive than the adults, so the team wasn't going to rush anything. They took their time with the acclimation, slowly drip acclimating each bag for around an hour and a half total, to give the fish the best possible start before releasing them into quarantine. Now, while the chili reds were acclimating, I figured I'd make myself useful. I helped the guys sort out the peacock bass, checked out the silver and albino arowanas that had just been placed in tubs, and of course, spent a little more time than I probably should have with the goldfish. Now, I've always loved silver and albino arowanas, especially from the top view. No matter their size, they're absolutely stunning. By this point, most of the peacock bass had actually finished acclimating well before the chili reds. You can see Arvinth Aiya starting to move them into their tubs, but I'll be honest, it took us a long time than I expected to sort them all out because we were dealing with a massive variety of peacock bass. While we were doing that, the chili reds were still going through their acclimation. The Datnoids were also quietly acclimating in the background alongside the silver and albino arowanas, and once they were ready, they were moved into their own tubs as well. Now, unfortunately, I didn't manage to get footage of the Datnoids or the albino arowanas being released, but trust me, they looked absolutely beautiful. Now on to the fun part, the goldfish. I probably spent close to half an hour here. Even after more than 2 days of traveling, these little guys were still swimming over, nudging my fingers and looking for attention. Honestly, they were full of personality and I ended up spending way more time with them than I planned. And honestly, I was contemplating on if I should get my own goldfish tank. So drop a comment if I should. And so, in the meantime, the chili reds went through their last round of drip acclimation and it was finally time. And now for the moment you guys have been waiting for. Adding the juvenile chili reds into their respective tubs. Now before releasing each fish, most of the shipping water was discarded. And when I asked Arvinth Aiya why, he said this was a measure to prevent excess ammonia from entering the quarantine tubs. And after doing that, one after another, every chili red entered their temporary home. Now, what impressed me the most was the variety. There really was an arowana for everyone. Some had incredibly tall, powerful bodies. Others had unbelievably long pectoral fins. Some already showed fantastic rim development, while others were beginning to display early red color, even at such a young age. These weren't your average juveniles either. Most measured around 12 to 13 inches, and looking at each and every fish showed me that every pick was hand-picked for their customers. And if you are not sure how to choose a juvenile or adult arowana, check out the video on the top right or in the link in the description where I talk about choosing your adult and juvenile red arowanas. This video will be helpful if especially you're coming to get a red arowana in this shipment at Royal Aquarium, because honestly I find you guys will find these tips and tricks unbelievably helpful because like I said, there is an arowana for everyone, and in that video I help you guys figure out which arowana is for you. Just like the adults, every tub received the same post-shipment treatment to help reduce stress and support recovery, and to ensure that the fish received the necessary nutrients to help gain back their immunity. So once we finished adding the arowanas, there was a bunch of other peacock bass that were going through their acclimation. We decided to add them back in, and once every fish was settled, it was simply a matter of cleaning up and preparing everything for the next few days of quarantine. Now, unfortunately, I missed the filming of the fire eels and the flower horns being acclimated and being added to their tanks. But trust me, they were impressive too. But by the time everything was finished, it was just after 2 in the morning. Everyone was exhausted, but seeing every fish safely settled made the long night completely worth it. So that sums it up for this video. Honestly, it was quite the fun yet hectic video to film. And honestly, Royal Aquarium deserves way more credit than they get. Because this is the thing, I'm not paid to say this, but honestly, looking at how they handle shipments and how they work it through, even though I left, it's currently 2:18 in the morning right now. Even though I left early, they still had to work until 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning because they got way more things to unload. They have tanks and other monster fish varieties and even goldfish to still unload. So honestly, bravo to them. They go through quite the, oh look, it's the red Arowana in Lycia. And they deserve way more credit. Like I said, I can't stress this enough, but they deserve way more credit than they get. So thank you for Royal Aquarium for providing your customers, providing us, even me, with all the support and hard work that you guys do. And honestly, that's it for this video. Hope you guys got a small idea on how these shipments work, right? It's not always smooth sailing. Yes, there are casualties. Yes, there are errors, but at the end of the day, we are all human and we make those errors, right? So hopefully you guys got an idea on what this thing is all about, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I arrived home. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.